Happy Feel Good Friday, everyone. This is Donald Marquez. This is Your Insurance Connection. I'm your host. And on Your Insurance Connection, we talk about insurance, homeowners, life, and auto insurance right here at 88.1, the home of the People Station. And I just want to thank the listeners for tuning in today. And stay tuned. Don't turn that dial because we have a lot of important information to give you. We have owners of Serenity Funeral Home in my studio today. To join me, Andre Crockett Jr., along with his lovely wife, Dana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dana.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in, and also the listeners that came in last week to purchase home, auto, and life insurance. We broadcast every other Friday right here at 88.1, and we talk about insurance on Your Insurance Connection, and we're going to be talking about a lot of necessary pre-needs, and also we're going to talk about life insurance today and what families go through with and without life insurance. The Crockett's are here to help me today to better understand the impact it has on family members when there's no life insurance, and also when there are life insurance policy involved. Thanks again for coming on the show. This is very important for my listeners to better understand the importance of having life insurance. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Crockett?
I agree, man. It's the most important. Sometimes we just get families that come in that are really struggling because of the fact that they don't have life insurance. So that's what we are here to do, is to help them be prepared.
And at Serenity Funeral Home, you've been around for how long now?
Serenity Funeral Home is almost about 3 years in existence, but my dad's been doing it for 35, 36 plus years. So he's been in the community in the funeral home business for that long. So
Helping families get through a difficult time in their life.
always.
It's very difficult. And I appreciate the services you did for me this January with my wife.
Right.
She looked beautiful, and we put her away beautifully too as well.
That's right.
And I thank you for your services. Now I use their services, and I recommend any listeners out there that are going through some troubled times right now and a loss of a family member or getting ready to lose a family member, you can go ahead and give them your contact information.
Yeah, you can reach Serenity Funeral Home at 702-647-0123. Once again, that number is 702-647-0123. And we are located in North Las Vegas at 3435 West Cheyenne, North Las Vegas, Nevada, Suite 105.
And you're available 5 days a week, 6 days a
Yeah,
week?
we're 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We do work on Saturdays on appointment only, but as you know, in the funeral home business, we are 7 days a week, so we are taking calls 7 days, 24 hours a day.
Unless everybody can hold back and not pass away over the weekend. But that's impossible.
Man.
That's impossible. Dana, thank you for joining us too. Tell us what you do over at Serenity Funeral.
I'm the CFO.
Yeah,
So I just basically help with all the financial needs of the funeral home and as well as families. So we do any and anything that's necessary at the moment. Work on arrangements, work on pre-needs, work on anything that needs to do with the families.
Anything that needs to do with the family. So when the families come in, and I talk about life insurance all the time on my show, it's so important because within our demographics, it's a lack of knowledge about life insurance, a misunderstanding about it. But when it comes to time to fulfill that need for your family members all alike, what happens when they don't have life insurance or any means to pay for it?
Well, there's various things. Sometimes families come in that don't have life insurance. They are forced to sometimes make decisions that their deceased loved one didn't want. Sometimes that loved one may have wanted to be buried, and now the family doesn't have the money or the means to fulfill that wish. So then now they're forced to go out and try to do a GoFundMe or different various things in the community to try to raise those funds to carry out those wishes. It's very heartbreaking, and the percentage of people that actually come into Serenity Funeral Home that do not have life insurance is a high percentage, and we want to change that.
And they look like us. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
I tell it like it is. My give back to my community is to inform, educate, and get a better awareness of life insurance. This is so important, especially passing on generational debt instead of passing on generational wealth, because it does drag a family behind. It really does. It hurts a family financial stability. Whether when you're the rock of the family, you're the one be responsible for usually bearing a loved one, or a mother or father, or grandparent, or a child, or husband or wife. It happens too frequent in our community, and just kicking the can and just say, well, I'll put it off. I can't afford it. Making up excuses not to have life insurance. Don't let that happen to you. Contact me at 702-236-2624. Veronica's standing by right now to take your name and your number. 702-236-2624 is my contact phone number. If you have a need, and we all eventually have a need to go to a funeral home, and we want to make sure that our loved ones is not going to be responsible for the cost of burying someone today. The average cost, to my understanding, in Las Vegas, Nevada, we're talking about opening, closing the grave site with the service on a traditional burial is around $15,000 and up.
Correct.
Yeah.
$15,000 and up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to come up at one time. Now, if you don't have a life insurance policy, whatever, GoFundMe, that's just, to me, just asking. To me, that's big. I'm just going to tell it like that. It is big. And people that, and there's a lot of scams out there too on the GoFundMe accounts, and people out there on the corners begging for money. And how do we know if that's legitimate or not? We don't know whether they're just out there trying to hustle up some money and try to play off of people's sympathy. But it's your responsibility as a person that's listening right now. Do you have life insurance? When the last time you had a life insurance review? At Your Insurance Connection, we give free life insurance review. Again, the phone number is 702-236-2624, 702-236-2624. I'm a licensed insurance agent, have been for the last 22 years. Let me be your insurance agent. Let us review your life insurance policy. And either one of you could take this. When a person comes in with a life insurance policy, what is the first thing you do? I'm going to give this to you, Dan.
Basically, we review the policy and see if it's contestable or not. And I know you can kind of talk a little bit more about that, but that's another key factor of having life insurance and understanding what your policy entails. Because if it is contestable, that's something that we as the funeral home can't take. So then therefore the family has a policy, say it's $10,000, $20,000, and we can't as the funeral home use it to help pay for the funeral costs because it's still in that 2-year period of whether or not the insurance company is going to pay.
I see. And to further better understand, what contestability means within the first 2 years.
Correct.
And sometimes, when people pass away within their first 2 years, if they're on a graded or a modified policy, they receive their money back plus 10%.
Correct.
Or if within the 2-year graded period, let's say the 2-year contestable period, as you spoke, if there was a suicide, usually that's not covered within the first 2 years, regardless of the policy, regardless of the final expense, when you have a 2-year contestable period in all policies, life insurance policies do. Not to say they won't pay it out, but they want to know the cause of passing.
Correct.
If there was any type of concealment. A lot of the contestability policies are the policies you buy way of mail. And I tell my listeners, you need an insurance agent. I want to be that insurance agent that sit down with you and talk about your life insurance. Because when you purchase a policy by way of mail, this is when the contestability, the challenge comes in.
Yes.
If a person passes away within the first 2 years. For more information, contact me. My name is Donald Marquez. The phone number is 702-236-2624, 702-236-2624. My location is right on the corner of Sahara and Rancho in the beautiful U.S. Bank building. I work by appointment, 702-236-2624. When a person comes in with life insurance, and let's say the policy is over a 2-year contestability period, or it's uncontestable within that 2-year period.
Right.
First thing you do is pick up the phone and call the insurance company, right, to make sure the policy is not accidental only. What you talking about accidental only? Do people come in with an accidental only life insurance policy?
We've had it.
Yes, and that's the very unfortunate piece to it, because unless somebody passes away from an accident and it has to be deemed an accident, there is nothing we can do for that. So somebody's been paying on a policy maybe for years and years and years and think that, hey, I have a life insurance policy I'll be able to use when I pass away, and nothing, you can't use it for those means.
Because most people die of natural causes, and the accidental has to be deemed an accident. I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of exclusions to that.
It is.
If you pass away in a car accident, a lot of times that's excluded. And a lot of people, and to think about it, by passing away of an accident, it has to be some type of horrible death.
Yeah.
Unusual, where you're climbing Mount Charleston, hang gliding, parachuting, and the parachute doesn't deploy, and you fall to the ground. It has to be an ordinary event. Living an Evel Knievel lifestyle, riding motorcycles. And, grandma and grandpa doesn't do this. Our grandparents don't ride around on motorcycles, race speedboats, drag race cars. If you have that type of lifestyle, of course you need a accidental-only life insurance policy. But these offers come in the mail. They look. Oh, I'm 75 years old. I can get $1 million worth of life insurance less than $1 a day, and I'm gonna take it.
Looks
But
great.
it looks great, but it's accidental only. And 22 years in this business, I've never known one accidental policy to pay out. Now, what I do encourage my customers that come in, I'll write a life insurance policy, term, whole life, or universal life insurance. We include accidental in that policy. We include accidents. So no matter if you pass away of natural causes or if there is an accident, you're covered.
That's right.
You're covered.
We've had a case a couple of years ago where a young lady had just got her new car, and one of the insurances that she had when she got her car was accidental insurance. She ended up passing away in an accident, a car accident, and so it's just really smart to make sure that you're covered all the way around. So if there's life insurance and things like that, they really need to reach out to you and get that information. Us as a community, we need to do better with making sure that we are covered in case anything happens. Because in the funeral home business, man, we find a lot of times that families split apart once that pillar passes away, and now they're on the hook for having to come up with so much money to bury their loved one. You get family arguments, you get family fights, and all type of things that happen once that pillar is gone. And that's one thing that we are trying to educate and help people understand, is that if you prepare yourself, 9 out of 10 times your family will stay together, because we find a lot of family that are breaking apart because of that reason.
And it's about finances.
That's it.
It's about finances, and a lot of I could probably see families coming in. Well, I thought you had a policy on mom and dad. Oh, we did have a policy on mom and dad, but it lapsed.
That's right.
Or they said they couldn't afford it. I have customers come in, purchase a life insurance policy, not all the time, but this does happen. They'll come in and purchase a life insurance policy, pay into it for 6 to 8 months, and then think of ways where they can't afford it.
Right.
You have to understand something. When you let a life insurance policy lapse, first of all, you giving it. I talked to some people last week, and they had the policy for 11 months, and the rate I added up the numbers. They paid the life insurance company almost $2,900. Let the policy lapse, and it's gone. Now they're trying to get a new insurance.
Yep.
And health. The person in his health has changed.
Yes.
And it's very difficult to get them insured now. But you've given the life insurance company $2,900 of your hard-earned money that you're not ever going to recover. They're not going to give it back to you and say, "Hey," because your loved one was insured at that time.
Yeah.
Listen, if you come to me and you want to take out a life insurance policy, this is the commitment. Life insurance policy is a gift of love to your family members to let them know that I care about my financial stability. I don't want you to be responsible for $15,000 to $20,000 to bury me.
Right.
Especially if you want a loved one transfer to another state to be buried with the family members in another state. Where is this money coming from?
That's right.
And family members are torn apart because of the financial responsibility. It's going to be a burden on someone or multiple family members. People argue about the silliest things, glasses.
Yes.
Mom didn't want the red dress. She wanted the blue dress. Mom left me the house. She didn't leave you the house. You don't live here. I took care of mom, and so you find siblings and people fighting all the time. But what we try to do at Serenity Funeral Home is educate. Whether you stay with us or not, we want to give you guys the most knowledge possible as far as what to do as far as life insurance and anything that you need to know. You don't have to stay at Serenity Funeral Home. But what we do love is those families that do come in, that do have life insurance. And I'm gonna use you as an example. You came in, you was already prepared. Your life insurance was already taken care of. And so we like to see things like that because now the family can actually grieve.
Yes.
Instead of having to stress and go out and worry about coming up with all of this money, all of these funds to try to bury mom or dad or wife or husband or even a child, you're able to grieve the right way. And I don't know if that how that sounds when I say grieve the right way, but you shouldn't have to bury your mom or a close loved one and still have to stress and worry about coming up with so much money.
Oh, you're absolutely right. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Your Insurance Connection. I'm your host, Donald Marquez, and I have Dana and Andre Crockett Jr. in my office, and they're owners of Serenity Funeral Home. And in my experience, losing my wife back in January, and Andre got on the phone and contacted me right away. And there was no doubt in my mind where I was going to take my loved one to Serenity. Serenity was my first choice. And he just happened to call when it happened, right? I mean, minutes after my wife passed away. I guess he was on speed dial from heaven or something. I don't know how he got the information so quickly, but when I came in to present my life insurance policy, this is my experience. Right. I gave you my life insurance policy. You did contact my life insurance company to make sure the policy was active and it was paid up, which it was. And what they do is have an outside vendor attach themselves to the policy, pay you first. It doesn't hold any of the procedure up. That's the one thing, my listeners, you have to understand. Once you have an active life insurance policy,
Right.
it does not hold up procedure. Right. They can verify it right away, immediately, and then so now the services can continue.
Yes.
That's
So when you say you grieved the way that you should with the life insurance policy, it's an emotional relief.
That's right.
It's an emotional relief because now your business is in order. That is taken care of. You don't have to ask your loved ones, family members, go in the corner and beg for money. Some other strangers not responsible to take care of your business today. If you don't have a life insurance policy and you've been kicking the can, regardless, we can write you a life insurance policy up to 85 years young. Contact me. My name is Donald Marquez. This is Your Insurance Connection. Veronica's standing by right now to take your name and your number, 702-236-2624, 702-236-2624. Once again, 702-236-2624. When people come in your funeral home for services, let's say out of 10 people walking in the front door, how many of those people have a life insurance policy in place that you can call up the insurance company and continue the procedure?
Maybe 4.
4 out of 10.
Maybe.
That's 40%.
I would say 20% or less.
And that's why I put the
Lately.
maybe. That's why
I mean,
20% or less.
Mm-hmm.
that's why I put the maybe behind it.
So that's 2 out of 10 people walk in with a life insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's 6 or 8 that don't come in with a life insurance policy. They have to maybe cremate if they don't want. I mean, sometimes you're forced to do that.
Yes.
Sometimes you are forced to do things that you don't want to do, and then sometimes you're getting families that are coming in that are price shopping. We over at Serenity, we give you the ultimate service, and like we said, whether you use us or not, we're there to give you guys the wealth of knowledge, whether you choose us or someone else. But now you're having families who are penny pinching and trying to save, $50 or $100 here, and now they're moving their loved one from one facility to the next facility to the next facility, and it's really sad. We're there to really help and assist and actually do whatever the family wants us to do.
Well, that has to be an emotional experience too, and that's a cost factor. That's a cost factor when you're moving the remains from one location to the next, because someone has to pay for that.
Correct.
And it is not as unless you put them in the back of your SUV, which you can't do that these days, right? And take them to the funeral home. That's an experience lesson to learn right away, because now that transporter wants to be paid immediately before they move the body around from location to location. My name is Donald Marquez. This is Your Insurance Connection. Contact me at 702-236-2624, 702-236-2624. We can tailor-make a life insurance policy for you. It'll fit in your budget. We want you to keep the life insurance policy. Because eventually, and I have people say this all the time, if something happens to me, well, you know, the cemetery is full of ifs.
That's right.
Ifs. It's going, so something is going to happen to each and every one of us. We're going to be called up. Our number's going to come. Aretha Franklin, we just lost the Queen of Soul yesterday.
God rest her soul.
And yes, God rest her soul. So we're not immune to our next life. But when that time comes, when you have a life insurance policy, a means to pay for this service, you know, you're going to find out right away. You're going to find out right away whether you have the right life insurance policy or not. And if you're curious about your life insurance policy, we give free reviews. Excuse me, free reviews. Wow. We want to sit down with you, look at your current life insurance policy, make sure that policy is in order. When I offer life insurance policy to a client, it's for the rest of their life.
That's right.
I like to sleep at night. So I don't want no one to call me and say, "Hey, I bought this policy," and it's you know, my parents outlived it. I get a policy; it's going to last you the rest of your life. Whole life insurance is good for a family member that's looking for burial, that's looking for a type of burial policy that'll take care of that final expense. Not only it'll take care of the final expense, there will be bills after the service is done. We talk about credit card bills, hospital bills. If you have a mortgage, the mortgage still has to be paid. The furniture has to be moved out of the home if you're renting. I mean, the list of items just continue. One of the things I did realize once my wife passed away, I received my death certificate pretty quick.
Yes.
Has the laws changed with the death certificate? Because it used to be it took a while before you could receive a death certificate.
Well, sometimes it really depends. We tell families that it could take from 2 to 6 to maybe 8 weeks. Sometime it really depends on the cause and how quickly they can find the cause for that death certificate. But if you do have a family member that, you know, maybe you know, have cancer or you know, something like that that's already in place, it makes it kind of quicker to get that, because now it's not a case of wondering what this person passed from.
Right. And also the death certificate, what it does, it allows the family members with a life insurance policy to get the remainder of the proceeds from the life insurance company.
That's right.
Now, again, when a person walks in with life insurance, you make sure that that policy is valid so you can get paid first. Right? And it won't stop any of the procedures for the family member to have their loved ones taken care of. Now, once the procedure is done, you receive the death certificate. That's when you file a claim with your life insurance company to receive the balance of a tax-free benefit, by the way, listeners. It's a tax-free benefit. For more information, call me at 702-236-2624. This is Donald Marquez. This is Your Insurance Connection, 702-236-2624, 702-236-2624. My location is right on the corner of Sahara and Rancho in the beautiful U.S. Bank Building. I'm located on the 8th floor. I work by appointment only, 702-236-2624. I give out my phone number a lot because people still call and say, you know what, he didn't give his phone number out. Oh, I was driving at the time.
Yeah.
But as long as they call, that's the main thing. When my service was performed, although I didn't have it at your chapel, because I know the large number of people were going to be at the service,
Right.
Everything that I requested was done. My wife was laid to rest beautifully, and I thank you for your services. I utilized your services because it was important for me to give back to my community, not only come on the radio every week and talk about, you know, patronizing businesses, but also giving back wherever I can. This information I give every week on the radio is good information so people can understand. It's not an if, it's a when.
That's right.
And the churches can't afford to bury your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife. They just can't afford to do it. 3 funerals in 1 month, and on a traditional burial, that's over $45,000 a month. A church cannot not absorb that type of cost and to continue to operate, because it does take money to operate a church. But some people fall back. Well, this is a big one. I have life insurance on my job. How does that work
We
out?
get that all the time.
Wow. Well, those are more group policies. So, group policy is definitely different than an individual policy. I know you could go into detail a little bit more about that when you have people come in and you can review their policies, but those are very important things as well. Group policies usually take longer sometimes to verify. We can't always get a hold of people in the office as easily as talking to calling you or something along those lines. So those are things to think about. And also usually group policies, they're either less or you don't always have the ability to pick and choose as much as an individual policy. So they do still pay out. It's just a little bit more of a process, and you do need to really review those as well. If it's with your HR or who you have those with your employer, you need to be looking into that. I will tell you on group policies, keep this in mind. If for some reason you're out on disability, you really need to pay attention if the benefits are still there, because we had a gentleman not too long ago pass. He had only been out on disability for 30 days with the Clark County school system. And I don't know if I could say that.
No, it's okay.
He's been, I think he was working there for over 20 years.
Right.
And they stopped his policy.
And that's something.
Ridiculous.
It's a lot of exclusions within a job,
Yes.
a life insurance policy, because it is a benefit.
Yes.
And sometimes people pay 3 times into these benefits, or they pay more into it. But it's a lot of exclusions, and I try to tell my listeners, listen, if you have a benefit on your job, that's fine. But get an individual life insurance policy, because things
Yes.
does happen, just like you mentioned, disability. I had no idea of that.
Yeah.
Or you may quit, you may get fired, laid off, retired.
Or if you hit a certain age, if you're not looking at the paperwork, your benefits drop on a group policy
Yes,
too.
they do.
So we had I say young lady, she was I think in her mid 60s. As soon as she hit 65, her benefits dropped in half. Nobody was informed that they knew of. She passed away at 65. Her daughter thought she had $30,000. She ended up only having $15,000, and ended up having to use the whole policy just to bury her mom.
And there's no money left over.
None.
Because you do need money left over. And this is why it's so important to get a life insurance review. Always, if you have a job, a benefit, that's fine, but you have to understand that's limited. That is completely limited. It is a benefit, and the people up the corporate ladder, they're always looking for ways to save money, put more money in their
Yes.
pocket. Don't let this happen to you. Get a life insurance policy. 702-236-2624 is my contact phone number. 702-236-2624. Real quick before we get out of here, Greg DeVille, he didn't come on today. I don't know what happened, but check out Greg DeVille. He's on 88.1 from on Fridays from 9 a.m. to 9:30. He's turning renters into homeowners. Contact Greg at 702-515-4100. Also coming up next is Like It Is Radio with Franklin Burley and also Cheryl Lightford. They just keep it like it is. They talk about the black diaspora right here at home of the People Station. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I really do appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you for
Once
having us.
Oh, no, anytime. You're welcome to come on my show anytime. I mean, it's an open door, because the importance of what I do, it's like us, we're passing the baton on you next. Once a person takes that life insurance policy out, it's a relief for them. Oh, they're like, oh, I'm so glad I took care of this. I'm so glad I took care of this. Now you should keep it. Do not let it lapse. And also don't borrow all the money out of the life insurance policy, because once all the money is
That's a
borrowed
shock
out,
too sometimes
we
for
found that
families.
too. So for the family members find out, hey, mom, dad had $35,000, but they took out $10,000.
Yeah.
What
What's
happens
left?
then?
Right. What's left?
What's left is we have to work with the funds that's left, because that money is still owed, right? And they minus it from the death benefit.
Correct.
So all of a sudden, $35,000 goes on $25,000 minus all the negative interest.
Correct.
Yeah.
All the negative interest.
And get over the stigma. Get over the stigma that if I take out life insurance or if I get life insurance, that I'm gonna die next week.
No.
Because we get that. We get people who are afraid to get life insurance because they say, once I get life insurance,
Oh my goodness.
then I'm
Listen.
gonna pass.
Okay. Well, listen, we have to go now, but again, the door is open anytime you want to come in. 702-236-2624 is my contact number. 702-236-2624. Thanks a lot. We're going to do this again.
Anytime.
Check out Serenity Funeral Home. If you have a loved one in need, call them. Thank you for listening, and until next week, you guys just keep it crispy.